Have you ever wondered why, despite eating healthy, your energy, confidence, and manhood seem to be fading after 60? You might be making a mistake no one warned you about, and it could start with something as simple as the nuts you snack. On Every Day, I'm Dr. James, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience, helping older men regain their vitality naturally, without embarrassment or risky interventions. And I'm here to tell you something most doctors never mention. Sometimes the problem isn't what you're missing, it's what you're consuming, thinking it's helping. We've all been told that nuts are heart healthy, rich in omega-3 south, fiber and antioxidants. That's partly true, but not all nuts are created equal, especially for men over 60. Some of the very nuts promoted as healthy are actually clogging the blood flow where you need it most, your penis. When blood flow slows down, it's not just about performance. It's about losing that deep sense of connection, vitality, and even your identity as a man. I've seen countless men struggling silently, doing their best, eating right, yet unknowingly feeding the very issue they're trying to fix. The sad truth: most medical professionals aren't trained to see the link between so-called healthy foods and hormonal imbalance, erectile dysfunction, and emotional disconnection. In this video, I'll walk you through 4 specific nuts that may silently disrupt your testosterone, stiffen your arteries, and sap your vitality. But more importantly, I'll show you exactly what to eat instead. Realistic, easy swaps that support circulation, restore hormonal balance, and help you feel strong, engaged, and confident again. Because physical health and emotional connection are inseparable, especially as we age. If you're a man over 60 who cares about staying sharp, energized, and intimately connected, don't skip this, and stay with me until the end. Because the 4th nut is something nearly every man has in his pantry, yet very few realize how much damage it may be doing. Before we dive in, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a men's health tip made just for you. And if this message resonates, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me bring you more of what truly matters. Now, let's uncover the truth behind the first nut. The one marketed as a superfood, featured in trail mixes and energy bars, but may be secretly undermining your testosterone and hormonal balance. 1. Soy nuts, the testosterone trickster. Let me ask you something many men never think to ask. Could a snack you consider healthy actually be tricking your hormones and draining your masculinity from the inside out, day after day, without you realizing it? If you're still with me from the first part of this video, you now understand how some so-called healthy foods can quietly sabotage male vitality. And now, let's take a deeper look at one of the most misleading of them. All soy nuts. At first glance, soy seems like a smart choice. It's packed with protein, cholesterol-free, and often featured in heart-healthy or plant-based diets. You'll find it in roasted snack form, in granola bars, even in cereals targeting active lifestyles. But for men over 60, this one little nut can create a ripple effect that undermines blood flow, hormone balance, and even emotional well-being. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, Bill, age 67, a retired engineer, sharp as ever, but deeply frustrated. He was doing everything by the book, eating clean, staying active, and staying positive. But despite his best efforts, his energy had slumped, his desire had faded, and intimacy with his wife had become rare and emotionally distant. He felt like something was missing, not just physically, but in who he was as a man. And that's when we looked closer at his diet. He had been snacking daily on soy nuts, believing they were heart-smart and protein-rich. What he didn't know was that soy is rich in phytoestrogens, plant compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. While small amounts may not pose a serious issue, frequent consumption in aging men, whose testosterone is already on the decline, can tilt the hormonal scales in the wrong direction. Your testosterone isn't just about desire or performance. It plays a key role in muscle tone, focus, confidence, and emotional strength. When that delicate hormonal balance is thrown off, even subtly, men often report feeling less alive, less motivated, and more withdrawn. And yet, they rarely connect those changes to their diet. Several studies have linked excessive soy consumption with reduced testosterone levels, lower sperm quality, and diminished libido. The change doesn't happen overnight, but it builds, quietly, month after month, until you wake up one morning and realize you're no longer you. And to make matters worse, soy also contains phytic acid, a compound that binds to zinc and prevents your body from absorbing it efficiently. And why does that matter? Because zinc is absolutely essential for testosterone production and prostate health. In essence, soy doesn't just impersonate estrogen, it blocks your ability to produce the very hormones that define male health. The good news, you're not stuck. Bill made a simple change. He swapped out his daily soy nuts for pumpkin seeds, naturally rich in zinc, magnesium, and healthy fats that support blood flow and hormone balance. Within a few short weeks, he felt a noticeable difference: clearer mind, better energy, and a renewed connection with his wife, emotionally and physically. So here's what I want you to take away. Every bite matters, especially after 60. The foods you eat can either support the man you still are, or slowly steal him away. If you've been relying on soy as a protein source, it might be time to reconsider. Try rotating in other options like pumpkin seeds, walnuts, or a protein smoothie made from pea or hemp protein. Your body will thank you. Your mind will respond, and your partner may notice something too, something she hasn't felt in a while. But soy isn't the only trap hiding in plain sight. The next nut we'll explore may seem innocent, even nostalgic. You might have eaten it since childhood, but for older men, it can be a hidden blood pressure bomb. Let's take a closer look. 2. Salted peanuts, the hidden hypertension trigger. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever thought that a food tied to your fondest memories could be quietly sabotaging your health and intimacy after 60? This one hits close to home. For me, my father, a strong, proud man who rarely complained, had a simple ritual. Every evening he'd sit at the kitchen table with a small bowl of salted roasted peanuts. No sugar, no junk, just old-fashioned, honest peanuts. Or so we thought, but when he crossed into his 70s, I began noticing subtle yet troubling signs. His blood pressure crept up, his legs would swell after dinner, and although he would never admit it out loud, the spark between him and my mother began to dim. It wasn't until I carefully reviewed his diet that I realized the issue might have been sitting right there in that bowl the entire time. Salted peanuts are everywhere, cheap, satisfying, and nostalgic. They feel harmless. But for men over 60, they can be a silent threat. The issue isn't the peanut itself. It's the extremely high sodium content that most commercial roasted peanuts carry. As we age, our blood vessels naturally become less flexible. Add in excess salt, and it's like clamping down on an already stiff garden hose. Blood flow slows, especially where it matters most for a man's confidence and connection. But it's not just the salt. Most store-bought salted peanuts are roasted in low-quality inflammatory oils, like soybean or cottonseed oil, which fuel chronic inflammation in the body. That inflammation doesn't just affect your heart or your joints. It targets your endothelium, the fragile inner lining of your blood vessels. When that lining becomes inflamed, it blocks blood flow to the areas that define vitality, arousal, and emotional bonding. And here's the real problem. When blood pressure rises and arteries become inflamed, achieving and maintaining an erection becomes more difficult. Many men don't see the connection between what they snack on and what happens in the bedroom, until someone helps them connect the dots. That's exactly what I did with my father. I gently replaced his bowl of salted peanuts with unsalted pistachios, a natural source of L-arginine, an amino acid that helps dilate blood vessels and support healthy circulation. Within just a few weeks, his blood pressure began to stabilize, his energy returned, and that quiet flame between him and my mother, it slowly rekindled, not through pills, not through procedures, but through something as simple as a better snack. So what's the lesson here? Small daily habits shape long-term health. Something as ordinary as a handful of peanuts can quietly push you toward a decline, or with a smart substitution, lead you back to strength, clarity, and connection. If you've been snacking on salted peanuts, thinking they're better than chips, it may be time to rethink that habit. Try switching to raw or dry roasted, unsalted nuts, especially pistachios, almonds, or walnuts, and give your cardiovascular system a break. Stay hydrated, add potassium-rich foods like bananas, and try gentle daily movement like walking. After meals, these small actions, done consistently, change everything. And remember, intimacy is not just physical. It's emotional. It's about showing up as your best self. Clear-headed, connected, confident. What you eat matters not just to your body, but to your relationships. But we're not done yet. The next nut on our list is even more deceptive. It's often marketed as refined, luxurious, even heart-healthy. But for older men, it may quietly inflame the arteries and unbalance healthy fats in exactly the wrong direction. Let's take a closer look. 3. Macadamia nuts, the hidden fat traplet. Me ask you this, could something as creamy, natural, and heart-healthy as a handful of macadamia nuts actually be slowing you down physically, hormonally, and even emotionally, without you realizing it? After working with thousands of men over the age of 60, I've learned one hard truth. Not all healthy habits are healthy for aging men. And this story, in particular, sticks with me because the man who lived it was doing everything right. His name was Robert, 72 years old, a retired Navy officer, disciplined, active, sharp-minded. He had spent his post-military life devoted to wellness. He ate clean, moved daily, and took real pride in his morning ritual. A cup of black coffee and a handful of macadamia nuts. "Doctor," he said with a confident grin, "they're full of good fats, great for my heart." But beneath that confidence was something he wasn't saying, not at first. His endurance was fading. His erections had become inconsistent, and intimacy with his wife had started to feel more like a memory than a shared experience. Macadamia nuts are often praised for their buttery flavor and high monounsaturated fat content. And sure, those fats can support heart health in moderation. But for older men, that's not the full story. Macadamia nuts are also rich in omega-6 fatty acids. And here's where the hidden trap begins. You see, omega-6 south aren't inherently bad. Your body needs them in small amounts. But when omega-6 intake outweighs omega-3, especially in aging bodies where inflammation is already harder to manage, it creates a pro-inflammatory environment. And chronic inflammation is one of the silent destroyers of blood flow, hormone balance, and overall male vitality. When inflammation increases, blood vessels stiffen, plaque builds up faster, and oxygen-rich blood struggles to reach critical organs, including the one tied to your masculinity. At the same time, macadamia nuts are incredibly calorie-dense. Even a small handful carries a significant fat load. And for men over 60, whose metabolism has naturally slowed, that excess fat can tip the balance, affecting insulin sensitivity, weight, and hormone production. But here's the key insight. Robert didn't need to give up snacking, he just needed a smarter option. We replaced his daily macadamias with Brazil nuts, just 1 to 2 a day. Why? Because Brazil nuts don't just provide healthy fats, they're one of the richest sources of selenium, a trace mineral essential for testosterone production, prostate health, and sperm quality. Within a month, Robert reported feeling more energized, sharper in the mornings, and most importantly, more like himself, the kind of man he was proud to be. And his wife, she noticed too. This is what most men forget. It's not just about avoiding bad foods. It's about choosing the right foods for your phase of life. Macadamias might be a good option for a 30-year-old triathlete, but for a man in his 60s or 70s, with changing hormones and vascular needs, context matters. And remember, vitality isn't only physical. When blood flows freely, when inflammation is reduced, when hormones are back in balance, you don't just perform better, you feel better, more confident, more connected, more present. But now, we come to perhaps the most deceptive nut of all. It looks harmless, tastes slightly sweet. It hides in trail mixes and granola bars. But for men over 60, it may be silently robbing you of one of the most important minerals your body needs to stay energized, focused, and fully alive. You won't want to miss this one. 4. Cashews, the zinc blocker you never saw coming. Here's a question that might surprise you. What if that creamy, healthy snack you've been reaching for, the one that seems so innocent, has been quietly robbing your body of one of its most vital minerals? I used to keep a small pouch of cashews in my glove compartment. It was my go-to snack between appointments, satisfying, smooth, not overly salty. For years, I never gave it a second thought. But when I began working more closely with older male patients, I started noticing a strange pattern. The men who came in struggling with low energy, prostate discomfort, and declining libido, many of them shared one quiet habit. They were eating cashews regularly. Cashews seem harmless. In fact, they're widely promoted as healthy, packed into granola, tossed into vegan recipes, and mixed into trail snacks everywhere. But here's the problem. Cashews are high in oxalates, natural compounds that bind to key minerals like zinc and calcium, making them harder for the body to absorb. For men over 60, that's a real concern. Zinc plays a central role in testosterone production, prostate function, sperm quality, and sexual performance. Even a subtle drop in zinc absorption, especially when combined with age-related metabolic shifts, can lead to noticeable changes. A dip in drive, a drop in energy, and even a fog in your mood. And most men never realize that their healthy snack might be quietly interfering with all of it. It gets worse. Most commercial cashews are roasted in inflammatory vegetable Oils like soybean or sunflower oil, which over time damage the delicate lining of your blood vessels. The result? Reduced circulation, more oxidative stress, and less blood flow to the places that define strength and intimacy in a man's life. What starts as a subtle decline, maybe a little less stamina or a slower recovery, can turn into a broader shift in how you feel, think, and relate to your partner. And yet, no one ever suspects the cashews. I had to learn this the hard way myself. When I swapped out cashews for raw almonds and pumpkin seeds, I noticed a surprising shift in my own clarity and endurance, especially during long workdays. And when I began encouraging my patients to do the same, the results were undeniable. They started reporting more energy, better focus, and a welcome return of that spark they thought was gone for good. But here's the deeper truth, and this is where everything we've discussed comes together. It's not really about the nuts. It's about how the aging male body responds to foods we've always assumed were safe. What worked for you at 35 might not support you at 65. Your hormones have changed. Your circulation has shifted. Your cellular needs are different. That's not failure, that's biology. But understanding it gives you power. Power to shift course. Power to restore what matters most. So if you've been relying on cashews as your clean snack, consider switching to zinc-supportive options instead. A handful of pumpkin seeds or a couple of Brazil nuts can go a long way. And don't forget the basics. Stay hydrated, move your body daily, and prioritize whole, anti-inflammatory foods that support your circulation, testosterone, and mental clarity. Because at the end of the day, your vitality isn't just about strength, it's about connection. How you connect to your partner, to your purpose, and to the version of yourself you know is still in there, just waiting to come alive again now. Let's pull back the curtain, because what we've explored so far has been about specific foods. But the next step is more profound. It's about how we age, why it happens faster for some men, and what you can do today to reclaim the health and energy you deserve. Let's uncover that truth together. It was never just about the nuts. It's about how an aging body reacts to them. Let me ask you something that most men don't stop to consider. What if the real problem isn't the food itself, but how your aging body responds to it? I remember a patient of mine, Frank, a 74-year-old widower, smart, disciplined, and sincere about his health. He came to me confused and frustrated. "Doctor," he said, "I eat clean. I stay active. I fill my diet with heart-healthy foods, like almonds, cashews, even some macadamias. But I'm tired. My blood pressure is creeping up, and my intimacy, it's not what it used to be." That's when I had to share something few doctors ever say out loud. It's not the nuts. It's how your body, wiser, older, more reactive, handles them. After age 60, everything shifts. Your metabolism slows. Your blood vessels lose elasticity. Hormones start to waver. What once gave you energy might now be overloading your system, whether it's too much salt, the wrong type of fat, or hidden anti-nutrients that block mineral absorption. These aren't abstract concepts. They show up in your day-to-day life, in your energy, your mood, your blood pressure, and yes, in the bedroom too. Nuts are nutrient-dense, no question, but not all fats are equal once you're past midlife. Too much omega-6, too little omega-3, too much sodium, too many inflammatory oils. It all adds up quietly. No loud warnings, just a gradual erosion of performance, confidence, and vitality. That's why the answer isn't to eliminate all nuts. It's to choose the right ones. The ones that work with your body now, not against it. And that's exactly what I help my patients understand. Take George, for example. He's 69, a retired schoolteacher. He looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I don't want to give up everything I enjoy. Just tell me what to swap." So here's what I told him and what I'll share with you. If you're eating soy nuts, switch to pumpkin seeds. They're rich in zinc, magnesium, and plant-based protein, great for testosterone and circulation. If salted peanuts are your go-to, try unsalted pistachios instead. They're one of the few nuts high in L-arginine, a natural nitric oxide booster that supports blood flow. Love macadamias. Trade them for a couple Brazil nuts. Just 1 or 2 a day delivers a powerful dose of selenium, crucial for hormone balance and prostate health. Craving cashews daily? Go for raw almonds or chia seeds. Gentle on digestion, rich in heart-supporting nutrients, and free of the oxalates that block zinc absorption. This isn't about giving things up. It's about upgrading, supporting your aging body with smarter, cleaner choices that rebuild energy and restore confidence. And here's the thing. Small daily shifts add up to real results. When men make these changes consistently, they start to notice the difference. Mornings feel more energized. Intimacy becomes less of a question mark and more of a reconnection. That sense of being yourself again, it's real, and it doesn't come from another pill. It comes from awareness, intention, and nutrition that truly works with you. So if you've been wondering, what can I eat instead? Now you know, and more importantly, now you're empowered. Because what you're choosing isn't just a snack, it's a signal. A signal to your body that says, I've got your back. And if you've been asking which foods actually enhance circulation, stamina, and vitality, the answers are right here. Pistachios, pumpkin seeds, Brazil nuts, chia almonds. Nature's blueprint for male health after 60. But now that you've seen what to avoid and what to embrace, there's one final truth I need to share with you. One that ties all of this together. One that explains why this matters now, more than ever, and what happens if you ignore it. So stay with me, because what comes next may be the most important health message you'll hear this year. Conclusion: it was never about the nuts. It was about you. After more than 3 decades sitting across from men like you, strong, wise, accomplished men who've built families, careers, and legacies, I've learned that vitality isn't lost in a single moment. It's chipped away quietly by choices we think are harmless. A snack here, a habit there, and eventually the man you used to feel like starts to fade. But now you know better. You've learned today that it's not about blaming food. It's about understanding how your body changes after 60, and how some foods, like soy nuts, salted peanuts, macadamias, and cashews, might no longer support the man your body is now. You've also learned there's a better way, that pistachios, pumpkin seeds, Brazil nuts, almonds, and chia can reignite your energy, circulation, and confidence naturally. I've seen this work in real lives. I've watched men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s reclaim their strength and spark, and not with medication or marketing tricks, but with awareness, with small, consistent upgrades, with the courage to choose differently. One bite, one morning, one moment at a time. So here's my message to you. This isn't about nuts. It's about you choosing to say yes to a new chapter. A chapter with more energy, deeper connection, and fewer silent struggles. You are not too old. It is not too late. Your body is still listening, and it's time to give it what it's truly been asking for. If this message spoke to you, I invite you to share it with another man who needs to hear it. You might just be the reason someone else takes back control of their life. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What small change are you willing to start with today? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one if you haven't yet. Feel free to like this video and subscribe, only if it brought you value. And don't forget to tap the bell so you never miss the health strategies made just for men like you.